Yeah, I'd say 10 to 12 days. I'll announce it probably tonight or tomorrow. But there's no reason to wait.
Have you ever wondered how fascinating power games in politics can be? When global powers face off, every word, every gesture carries deep meaning. Today, we're diving into one such intriguing political saga. Donald Trump, who initially gave Russia 50 days to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine, has suddenly cut that deadline to just 10 to 12 days.
President Trump shortened that dramatically. He said he is disappointed and frustrated in the Russian president. So now he said it's a 10 to 12 day time frame.
Can Trump truly make Russia bend? Or will Putin dismiss this threat as mere bluster? Let's get to the bottom of this complex issue. First, let's understand how this whole situation began. Donald Trump, a prominent candidate for the Republican Party in the 2024 presidential elections, has often claimed that if he becomes president, he'll end the war in Ukraine within 24 hours. This has been his biggest election promise. To fulfill this claim, he recently gave Russia a 50-day deadline. The purpose of this deadline was for Russia to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine. Otherwise, they would face severe tariffs and sanctions. Now, a question arises here. In your opinion, why do you think Trump initially gave a 50-day deadline? Was he giving Russia time to think? Or was there something else in his mind? Look, in politics, such deadlines are often initially set with a longer duration. There could be several reasons for this. Perhaps Trump wanted Russia to have ample time to think and prepare a response. Or maybe he was throwing a softball at first, planning to throw a hard ball later, so that his new decision would seem more impactful. But will this strategy work? But viewers, a few days ago, Trump surprised everyone. He made a public statement saying he was disappointed with Vladimir Putin and that there was no significant progress towards a ceasefire. The result? He cut his 50-day deadline to just 10 to 12 days. This was a political shockwave. When someone issues such a big threat and then shortens its duration so dramatically, it means they are either very serious or they are playing a very big power game. Trump's objective was clear: to increase pressure on Russia and force them to make a quick decision. After Trump's threat, the world's eyes were on Moscow. Everyone wanted to see what the Kremlin's reaction would be. When a personality like Trump issues an ultimatum, the response should also be something special. And the answer came, but perhaps not as Trump might have expected. The Kremlin's spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, a close confidant of Putin, gave a very serious and diplomatic response. He stated that, "We have taken note of Trump's statement." Friends, what do you think this phrase, "we have taken note," means? Is it just a formality, or is there a deeper political message hidden within it? Many of you might have understood. In political language, "we have taken note" means we are aware of your statement, but we are not making any immediate and drastic changes based on it. This is essentially an expression of diplomatic indifference. It means Russia has heard Trump's threat, but it has not perceived it as an immediate danger to itself. Peskov further stated that Russia's special military operation continues, and that they are committed to a peace process, but only if their interests are protected. This response clearly indicates that Russia is not ready to act solely on Trump's words. They know that political rhetoric is often just for increasing pressure. Their goal is clear: to protect their interests in Ukraine, and for this purpose, they can ignore any deadline or threat, as long as there is no real danger on the ground. Is this Russia's stubbornness or simply cunning? However, Peskov's calm response was not the only reaction from Moscow. In Russian political circles, there are also those who prefer to answer Trump in his own language. And among them, the most prominent name is Dmitry Medvedev, Russia's former president and deputy head of the Security Council. Medvedev's response was quite different from Peskov's. He directly wanted Trump secure, play the ultimatum game with Russia. He also stated that Russia isn't Israel or even Iran. This phrase carries a deep message. Israel and Iran are smaller powers compared to America. Russia considers itself a global superpower, one that will not bow down to American threats. Medvedev further added that every new ultimatum is a step towards war. And this war could be not just between Russia and Ukraine, but can potentially with America itself. In your opinion, what signal is Medvedev's response sending to Trump? Is he just trying to scare Trump, or is there a genuine threat hidden within it? Medvedev's response is not just a verbal threat. It contains a real warning. He is reminding Trump that Russia is a nuclear power and that it can go to any length to protect its interests. This statement challenges Trump's strongman image that he projects to the world. Its purpose is to make Trump understand that realpolitik is needed with Russia, not just verbal threats. Is this punching in the dark or a signal for Trump to straighten out his mind? Among Russian officials and analysts, there's another important perspective on Trump's deadlines and threats. They view Trump's move as a bluff or empty rhetoric. They argue that Trump often makes statements that he doesn't fully follow through on later. They believe this is just a tactic to put Putin under pressure and that Trump might not act on his sanctions threat.
In your opinion, how big a role does bluff play in Trump's politics? Does he really just threaten to get things done, or is there some truth to his threats? Trump has extensively used bluff throughout his political life. He has also operated this way in business for years, where he makes big claims and then waits to see how his opponent reacts. The advantage of this strategy is that it forces his opponents to guess. But the disadvantage is that when you bluff repeatedly, people stop taking your threats seriously. Russian officials are likely analyzing his statements with this in mind. Should Trump change his bluffing habit, or is it his winning formula? Russian analysts also say that Putin will wait for Trump's actions, not just his words. They believe Trump is approaching elections and needs to show voters that he can end the war in Ukraine. Therefore, these deadlines and threats could just be political stunts. The Russian Foreign Ministry had also previously stated that it would not accept threats, even after Trump's initial 50-day ultimatum. This perspective applies to the new, shorter deadline as well. But beyond all this political rhetoric and threats, what's happening on the ground? Has Russia changed its military strategy due to Trump's deadline change? What do you think? Will Russia stop its military operations because of Trump's threats? Or are their own interests more important? Sadly, the reality on the ground is quite different. Immediately after Trump's announcement, Russia launched new, intense attacks on Ukrainian targets. These attacks included a prison camp and a hospital, where dozens of civilians were killed. This is a clear indication that Moscow is ignoring Trump's deadlines and will not halt its military operations. Their objective is clear: to secure their interests in Ukraine, no matter the cost. These attacks are essentially a direct response to Trump. Russia is signaling that it will not succumb to pressure from any external power, especially when it comes to their national security and geopolitical interests. For them, Trump's statement is just more political noise that cannot change their plans on the ground. Is this stubbornness or just a way to impose their terms? While responding to Trump's statement, Dmitry Peskov also mentioned another important point. He referred to a slowdown in the process of improving relations with America. He stated that impulses from both sides are needed to better relations. In your opinion, will America and Russia's relations improve or worsen further, especially after Trump's recent moves? This is a very difficult question. Peskov's statement indicates that Russia wants to improve relations with America, but it will not do so solely on America's terms. They believe that America also needs to understand Russia's security concerns. Trump's threats have pushed relations further back. When you are threatening on one hand and talking about better relations on the other, it becomes contradictory. Russia wants relations to be based on equality, not one power dictating to another. Will these relations ever improve? Or will they always remain in a Cold War-like state? So ultimately, this is a political challenge where Donald Trump has directly challenged Vladimir Putin. Trump is employing his art of the deal and threat politics, aiming to force Putin to make a strong decision. In your opinion, who is the stronger player in this political chess game, Trump or Putin? This is a crucial question. Both are strong political figures in their own right. Trump is known for his outspoken, unconventional, and aggressive approach. He knows how to manipulate media and public opinion. Putin, on the other hand, is a calculated risk taker. He plans long-term and doesn't succumb to pressure. His strategy is often slow and steady wins the race. Putin knows that the 2024 elections are very important for Trump, and he wants a victory on the Ukraine issue. Therefore, Putin might view Trump's deadline as just an election stunt. Unless America takes real and painful sanctions or military steps, Russia will not make any major changes to its policy. Amidst all this, Ukraine's future remains uncertain. Millions are displaced. Hundreds have died. The world still needs to understand that this war can only be resolved not by political rhetoric, but by genuine diplomatic efforts and by changing the situation on the ground. Will we ever see an end to this war, or has it become the world's new normal? So, this was our detailed analysis of Donald Trump's Ukraine deadline change and the response from Russian officials. This political game is not as simple as it appears. It involves political pressure from all sides, deep-seated interests, and future anxieties. What are your thoughts on this whole matter? Will Trump's strategy work? Will Russia ever bow to pressure? Be sure to share your valuable thoughts with us in the comment section. If you like this video and learned something new from it, please like, share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth and detailed videos like this. Until next time, goodbye.